The Megalodon was big. Really big. Everyone knows that. But in 2026, new studies have shown that the Megalodon wasn't just an oversized shark. It was something way bigger. But despite all the insane action movies and the massive amounts of research that have gone into this one thick shark, there's two questions that scientists still don't fully understand. How did it get so big? And how big actually was it? Well, to understand how it was even possible for something like Megalodon to exist in the first place, let's compare it to the sharks that were still allowed to exist today. Most of the time, when we hear about insanely large or extreme animals, they turn out to be exaggerated, misidentified, or not actually classed as a real species. Megalodon wasn't a myth or a misclarification though. It was actually a real, scientifically recognized shark that genuinely reached an extreme size. Let's take a look at the great white. It is the gold standard for a predatory shark, but even the largest ones rarely top 20 feet. It's built for high-speed bursts and calorie-dense kills, but its size is capped by a brutal biological reality. The larger you are, the more energy it takes to move. If a great white tried to grow to 50 feet, it would likely starve to death simply trying to find enough food to power its own swimming. The only sharks that have managed to bypass this size limit are the whale shark and the basking shark. These are the current giants of the ocean, reaching lengths of 40 feet or more. But they had to make a massive trade-off to get there. Instead of hunting, they became filter feeders. They don't waste energy on massive teeth, powerful jaws, or high-speed chases. They just drift through the water with their mouths open, collecting microscopic plankton. This is the same path whales took to reach extreme size. Stuff like plankton and small schooling prey let whales take in enormous amounts of energy without the cost of constant pursuit. So, let's add a Megalodon next to these sharks. Oh, well, there isn't exactly much of a competition in size. Logically, we'd expect something this big to only be eating krill and plankton, but you don't evolve massive 7-inch teeth if your prey is half a millimeter. It was able to reach whale-level size without abandoning active predation. So to start, in modern day, basically every single shark is cold-blooded, but Megalodons were warm. Well, partially. Most sharks are at the mercy of the water around them. If the water is cold, their muscles are slow and their digestion is even slower. They're stuck in a low-energy lifestyle, but Megalodon could keep its core temperature significantly higher than the surrounding ocean, which gave it a massive advantage. It could swim faster, hunt in colder depths, and digest food much quicker than any other shark. The great white is one of the few sharks left today that actually shares this exact same trait. But wait, if being warm-blooded is the secret to getting huge, then why is the great white still so, well, small? Well, being warm-blooded is expensive. It requires a constant, massive intake of energy just to keep the lights on. Great whites hunt fish or seals, which is still a lot different than things like plankton. Their prey is proportionally sized down for their size. But Megalodons were massive, so they hunted something different. Something also massive. To fuel a body that size, you can't just eat fish. And you definitely can't just eat plankton. The energy it would take to catch them would be more than the calories the food itself provides. The Megalodon was forced into a high-stakes diet of one thing: whale fat. During the Miocene, the ocean was essentially a giant, slow-moving buffet. It was filled with small to medium-sized baleen whales and large seals that were packed with blubber. Blubber is the most energy-dense substance in the ocean, and for a Megalodon, it was the only fuel efficient enough to keep its warm-blooded engine from stalling. But the Megalodon wasn't exactly hunting these whales like a normal shark would. It would, well, completely brutalize them. Most sharks today, like the great white, use a bite and spit tactic. They wound the prey and wait for it to bleed out. But the Megalodon couldn't afford to wait. It used its 40,000 pounds of bite force to literally crush through the rib cages and vital organs of whales. It was designed to end the fight instantly, turning a living animal into a massive pile of calories as quickly as possible. Most animals usually kill their prey before, then soon after eat it. But the Megalodon's eating was the killing. And this worked out pretty well, honestly. As long as the whale were plentiful and easy to catch, the Megalodon would remain on top. Okay, so the Meg was huge, and its prey was huge too. But size alone doesn't actually explain why the Megalodon was so abnormal. We've seen giants all the time in history, like if you saw my video about the supercroc on my second channel. Size alone isn't always a biological anomaly. Getting crazy mega big is a strategy that plenty of animals have used. It wasn't just take a great white and scale it up a bunch. To understand what I mean, we have to look at its bite. Most predators follow a predictable scaling law. As an animal gets bigger, its strength increases, which is to be expected, but eventually, biology hits a wall. The muscles can only get so thick, and the bones can only take so much pressure before they snap. But Megalodon's jaw seems to have bypassed that wall entirely. Scientists have reconstructed the bite force of a Megalodon to be roughly 40,000 pounds per square inch. For comparison, the great white, the most feared predator in our modern ocean, has a bite force of around 4,000 pounds. Even the Tyrannosaurus rex, the undisputed king of land predators, only managed around 12,000 pounds. For its estimated body mass, scaling laws predicted the Meg's bite to be something closer to 20,000 pounds. So why become so violent? You're already outputting 20,000 pounds of force. Do you really need to evolve double that? Well, again, the Meg's hunting system was weird. At this sheer size, failure isn't really an option. You're